Kids, can you all see me, hear me? Yes? Can I see some thumbs up or something so I'll know? Yes, Miraya, Shambhavi, I can see you all. Okay, thank you. And you all can see the screen also clearly? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, welcome to our monthly session on the life lessons which we have. Before we start, I would want to know from those who've already logged in, how many of you all have attended any of the series earlier on life lessons? If you can quickly put it in the chat box, how many of you all have attended, so I'll have some kind of an idea. How many of you all have attended any of the live sessions that we have earlier? This is series 4, so we've had 4 sessions earlier. Kavya hasn't, Mukshit has, Srirang has, Purnendu has, of course. Okay, so we have few kids who have attended, not too many. Gopal has, Radha has. Okay. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we have a lot of new kids also. Welcome, welcome. Very nice to see you all here. Thank you for having removed time from your holidays and wanting to invest it in something like life lessons. All right. So basically what we do over here is whatever we deal in on a daily basis, right? What are the aspects that we see? We see, so earlier we've done things like anger, pride, compassion. You know, these are the emotions we come across on a daily life. Every day we come across these. So in this series, we're going to be doing comparing, complaining, and the cheating propensity, right? All of us have these, hidden emotions. The only thing is we need to understand this emotion. We need to know when it can work positive, when it works negative, and if it's working negative, how can we tweak it so that if it doesn't become positive, at least it's neutral, right? So that's what we try and do. And how do we do it? We do it through some stories. Yes, stories are a great medium, to learn. And you know why? For those who've attended my sessions earlier will know, for the ones who haven't attended, I'm going to repeat. Why are stories the best way to learn? Stories are the best way to learn because of a couple of reasons. See, we typically learn by 3 ways. Okay. One is we, hear that somebody tells us something, we hear. Okay. Second is we see somebody experiencing something and then we learn. And the third is we experience it and then we learn. So to give you an example, which I've given earlier also, suppose someone tells me don't touch any electrical thing with wet hands, like a socket or something, don't touch it with wet hands. Okay, that's one way of learning. Someone told me don't touch don't touch a socket with wet hand. That's one way of learning. Someone told me, I heard it and I don't touch. But some people don't understand by hearing. So then what happens? They learn with their own experience. Then they learn by when they touch it, someday they'll get that bad shock. Okay, but that's like a tough way or a harsh way to learn. And the third way to learn is by seeing someone else touch it and get that pain. So then you're at least saved of that. But unfortunately, that person has experienced it, but you're learning it at that person's expense. So what are stories? Stories are basically somebody else's experience, which teaches us a life lesson. All right. So someone went through a problem, or someone went through a success, or someone went through a failure, and we learn from that by seeing that or hearing that as a story. So that is what stories essentially are. All right. And that I feel is a great way to learn. And these are some of the stories, that I have heard from my grandparents, or I have read as a child, or I have heard from my teachers. So, and many of the stories I'll be telling you will be true stories also. So it's a great way to learn, right? And we will be starting now because it's already 3:33. But before we normally start, we always like to do a prayer. Why? Because anything auspicious, anything good that you start, you should always do a little prayer. All right. We have to thank God. We have to say a prayer. And that is something that we should do on a daily basis. All right. Every day before we start our day, we should do some prayer. Okay. It could be a prayer with 2 words, 3 lines, or it could be a long prayer. It's up to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to let any of y'all, it could be a prayer in Hindi, English, any local language, doesn't matter. Okay. Which kid would like to lead us in prayers today?
Srirang has raised his arm.
Srirang?
Has raised it. Yeah, he's raised his arm.
Okay, his hand. Yeah. Okay. So Srirang, you can tell us any prayer. Lead us in any prayer. Yes, Srirang, you'll be unmuted. 1 minute. I'm unmuting you, Srirang.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I recite some slokas from Mangalacharan?
You can say any single prayer, and the simpler prayer you say, the better it is, so that everyone understands.
Okay, Prabhuji.
There are a lot of kids, so any simple prayer. Go ahead, Srirang. Thank you.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare
Thank
Hare.
you. That's a wonderful prayer, and that's a wonderful way to begin also. Okay, so today, we're going to be, so as I told you, we're having 3 topics that we're going to be doing this session. Okay, and Srirang, also read out the prayers, the 3 topics which you see on your screen. Read out the 3 topics. I'm unmuting you again, Srirang. Yes.
Series 4, comparing, complaining and cheating propensity.
Yes. So the first one that we're going to be starting with today is comparing. Now, how many of y'all experience this when you land up comparing yourself with someone, your action with someone, or it could be anything. It could be your action. It could be something that you own, or the way you look, or it could be your marks, any of this. How many of y'all have had this experience of comparing yourself? I'm sure all of us do it. So how many of y'all have done that in the past? Srirang says, I feel jealous. Why do you feel jealous? Okay, you'll come. Even if you feel jealous, it's fine. I'll tell you some stories which will probably motivate you not to feel jealous, Srirang. Okay? Who else has experienced this comparison tendency? Where you compare with someone. You're all raising your hands up for that, or are you all going to put it in your chat boxes? 2D. 2D says you also. Okay, 2D, I request you to please edit your name. You have a beautiful name. Don't let it be as 2D. Edit it and put your correct name. All kids, please put your correct names. Okay. So yes, all of us have this propensity of, comparing ourselves to someone. It could be our neighbor. It could be our friend. It could be anyone, So that typically happens. So one day, this is what happened. There was a man who was dreaming. Yeah, he was in deep sleep and he was dreaming. And what did he, dream about? He dreamt that all parts of his body are rebelling against the stomach. Okay, he's in deep sleep and he suddenly sees that the hands are complaining. Arey, yaar, full day I'm working. My blisters are there, And what happens? All the food goes into the stomach. And then the legs started complaining. This is all happening in the dream. Huh? The legs are complaining that, full day I'm walking, I get joint pains, I'm extremely tired. And again, the food goes to the stomach. So basically, all of them are rebelling against the stomach. The mouth is also saying, I do all the chewing work. I'm working so hard. And again, the food doesn't stick to me. It goes in the stomach. And then the brain also says, Arey yaar, full day I'm thinking what to do, what not to do, what work to do, where to do, how to save money, how to strategize, everything, all the thinking work I'm doing. And again, all the food goes in the stomach. So all of them, were just against the stomach. He said, he's so lazy, this lazy belly. What does it do? Nothing. Full day, all the food is going in the stomach. It's doing nothing. And then they said, no, we have to rebel. We are not going to feed this stomach. That's the decision they made. All the parts of the body said, we are not going to feed the stomach. And ta-da! And then the man is still dreaming. And they all decide to go against the stomach. And they said, from today, we're not going to feed the stomach. So one day, first day, food doesn't go in. The stomach is growling. Growling, you know how it is. You're hungry, you're growling. And then no food goes in. All of them had decided together that we're not going to feed the stomach. So no food goes in. And then the second day also, the stomach is growling. But slowly, slowly, the growling becomes less and less and less. And finally, at the end of the second day, the stomach is also quiet. Right? And then the dream goes on. And suddenly, the man realizes that 1 day passes, 2 day passes, third, fourth, fifth day. Suddenly, the man realizes that he is feeling terrible. Means he's not able to move his hand. He's not able to even open his eyes. His mouth is dry. He can't even like talk. You know, suddenly all the parts of the body are in pain. The hand is in a mess. The eyes cannot be opened. The mouth is not opening. And all of them are in utter confusion. And the brain is working. Array, again, the brain it needs nourishment. Nothing is gone in. Again, the brain also is not working. What is wrong? What is wrong? And then suddenly the brain realizes, no, 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 no. We went wrong. We went wrong. We thought that the fat belly is doing nothing. But actually the belly takes in the food and distributes it to all parts of the body. That is why we were getting nourished. And oh my God, we've rebelled against that only. We went against the stomach only. And that is why we are all feeling completely weak and we can't function. Oh my God, we made a big mistake. Let us start working together again. And then the hands with great difficulty, get some food and they put it in the mouth with great difficulty, manages to chew it. And then finally some food goes into the stomach. And then everything works again. And then the brain shouts it out to all parts of the body that either we work together or nothing works at all. Yes. So this typically happens, luckily this was a dream, but in reality also, if you see, if we work together, that is when great projects are achieved. Individually, if we feel, that somebody's job is very minuscule, we think from our perspective, like many of you all do projects, one person may be the reciter of the project. He'll feel, I recited the project. Another person will feel, I made that fancy presentation, the whole credit should be to me. But that's not the thing. There's someone who's done the research. There's someone who's done the typing. There's someone who's done the entire setting of the screen. Everybody's work is equally important, right? So when we work together, we win. And if we try to be individualistic, thinking that मैंने ज़्यादा काम किया, उसने कम किया, and the credit should be with me, like what happened in this person's dream. And as you know, like all the parts of the body cannot function unless they work in tandem, right? So even if we have to eat food, we have to work in tandem. Like the hand picks it up, the eyes see it, then the mouth chews it, right? Imagine if the eyes are shut, and the hand doesn't work, ko kaan mein daloge, naak mein daloge, where will you put your food? Anything can happen. So everything has to work in tandem, right? So one or two of you all who raised your hand, before I go on to the next story, I would want to know what, like Sriram said, he feels jealous. I want to know what makes him feel jealous. And anyone else who wants to share any such thing that you've experienced when you've actually felt, when you felt that comparison, I compared with this one, and any such experience. I'll start with Sriram because he said he feels jealous. I want to know why. Yes, Sriram?
Prabhuji, when like anything, like I mean, like for example, in exam also, when we study together and
Right.
gets good marks than me, like even if he gets 1-2 marks more than me, then also I feel jealous. And if anybody means if like my brother is small, so my parents sometimes gave him more, so like I feel jealous. Like
Okay, so let's take this up, Sriram. See, suppose you study together with your friend and he gets 1 or 2 marks more than you. Then instead of feeling jealous, why don't you feel that maybe he did that little extra effort and next time even you will do that? Yeah? Both studied together. And for your younger brother, why don't you feel that he is younger? So anybody who's younger deserves a little more compassion, right? So that is the reason. And so if you think that way, what will happen? Your mind will be relaxed. You will not, and then you will focus better on studying more next time. And if you're constant comparing that, oh my God, I have to get 1 more mark than that one, I have to get 2 more marks than that one, then your entire focus goes on only that, right? Your focus should be what? I have to be better than my last exam. That should be your focus. That's what I believe in. That our focus should be to be better than ourselves, right? Because each one is made different. Imagine if an elephant compares with a cheetah. Is there a comparison? One can run fast, one is more strong. So there is no comparison. That way, God has made each one different. Each one has a different skill set. So rather than comparing one thing which maybe you're lesser than the other, you compare yourself with yourself. Last time, how much did I get in social studies? I have to be better than that. That's a better way to do it. Yeah? Okay. Anyone else wants to share any such thing? You can please only put up your hand if you want to share, okay? And then we'll give you all a chance. Anyone else wants to share any such thing? And I hope you all have logged in with the right names. Otherwise, I'll take some other name. Like I see Dr. Maya Golikar now. So if you can edit your name, I'll be able to, see better. Rishabh, your hand is up. You want to share some experience?
Yes, Prabhuji. I
Yes,
just
Rishabh.
I just got low marks in a subject in November. In my November examination, I got low marks.
Okay.
And then I felt really upset, and I wanted to do better. I promised myself I would do better. And when I did, and then in my final examination, I got better marks than that.
See, lovely. You compare yourself with yourself only, right? And you did better. This is so nice and motivating. Very, very happy to hear that. Very well done, Rishabh. Very, very well done. Very nice to hear that. Okay. Shriyang wants to say something. Kavya wants to say something. Okay, Kavya, I'll give you a chance because Shriyang has spoken. Yes, Kavya, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I got jealous one time as my sister had chanted more rounds than me. She had chanted 7 rounds while I had just done 5. That time I was jealous.
In fact, you should be inspired that she's done 7. So you should take that as, see, if someone does more than you, anything, which you want to do, that should be taken as an inspiration, I feel. That if that one can do that much, I can also do that, right? And if it's motivating. So imagine if cricketers are all jealous of Sachin Tendulkar, then Virat Kohli would never be able to create another record, because he's getting inspired. So many a times, rather than, see, jealousy makes us down, it gets us boggled down, because that's a negative feeling. Anything which is negative, anything, it could be thinking, it could be action, it boggles you down. But if you convert the same thing into some positivity, it will help you flip up. That's what I'm saying. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Shriya Golikar, you raised your hand. And if you put on your cameras also, kids, it will be nice. We can see you all also. Yes, Shriya? 1 minute, huh? Yeah, you're unmuted. You can share your experience, Shreya.
Sometimes, I feel that my sister is more luckier than me, or in school, if one does good for one time, they are called
Is
out.
she younger or is she older than you?
She's older than me.
She's older than you, and you feel she is luckier. Okay, now look at this, huh? Look at this, Sriram, older child. Okay. She's older than you. So what do you feel? Why is she luckier?
I don't know. She just does better than me, or yes.
Okay. So again, because she's your sister, and sisters are blood and buddies both together. So if she's doing better than you, then the advantage you have, that I feel, is that you have a role model and a teacher in front of you. So what better can it be? You have a teacher and who's teaching you by action. So we have to follow karke learn karo. It's it's good, it's great, So, and that way trust me, I'm sure she'll be, if you go to her and tell her that, Dee, help me, I want, to know how you did this, she'll be more than happy to share experiences. And she's obviously learned more. Anyone who's older generally has more experience because they've lived longer. When you live longer, that's why we say we should listen to our elders, our grandparents in particularly, because they've seen so much of life. And life is the best teacher. No amount of books will give you that learning what life teaches you. All right. Okay, so we move on to our next story, and then we'll have Darsh and others who wanted to share their experience. We'll give everyone a chance. Okay, whoever wants to share their experience, yeah. And whoever has shared can put down their hand so that other kids can get a chance in the next round. So we have another such story about comparison. All of you all have seen the rainbow? Yeah, and how beautiful it looks? Yeah? How many colors does a rainbow have? Okay, quickly in the chat boxes, let me see how many of you all remember. In the chat boxes, how many colors? 7. Radha says, Dash says 7. Purnendu also 7. Okay, who else is saying? Anyone else saying 8, 9, 10? Miraya, Shivanshi also says, okay. So all of you all are saying 7. I accepted, Baba, I accepted. So do you remember the colors? Yes, do you all remember? In the chat boxes, who can put the 7 colors down? One second, in the chat box. All the 7 colors, you all have to put, don't put one color. So Rishabh has put and a short form, Vibgyor. Okay. Violet, indigo, green and yellow, blue, orange, red. That's the way I learned it in school. You know, we sang it as a song. Violet, indigo, green and yellow, blue, orange, red. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about the rainbow. Once, you know what happened? Suddenly, all these colors, they started fighting amongst themselves. It started with green. You know, it started saying that, you know what, I'm most superior because everywhere you see there is greenery. You look at the beautiful grass, you look at the trees, it's all so beautiful and it's all thanks to me. So green was like really screaming at the top of his voice. And then suddenly blue said, hello, Shanti, Shanti, only the earth you're seeing. Look up, look at the sky, look at the ocean. There's blue everywhere. So I am more superior because wherever you see, I give that expanse. Look at the sky. You know, I'm serenity. Look at the ocean. You'll feel so much peace. And then while green and blue were talking, suddenly yellow started saying, hello, hello, hello. You guys are so serious. You know, I am the one who brings in laughter. I bring in warmth. Look at the sun. Look at the stars. You know, they are all yellow. And I make this place, this world a fun place, you know, so I'm the one who's more superior. And then suddenly orange started saying, oh, 3 of you all sit down. I'm the one who gives vitamins to all, you know, if you see the living organisms, all of them have key vitamins from me. Look at carrots is orange. Look at orange is orange. Look at pumpkin. Look at mangoes. Look at papaya. So I'm the one who gives health and strength. So orange started that, and then suddenly red said, hello, it is me. I'm the color of love. I'm the color also of passion. And I'm the color of blood, which is there in, you know, all the living entities, blood. So it's me. And I'm also the color of danger. So you'll stay away from me. I'm danger also. And so that was what red said. In the meantime, purple came from behind. That's violet, and said that you guys are good, but I am a symbol of royalty. Purple said, I am a symbol of wisdom. Do you see all the bishops and all the kings? So royalty and wisdom, all of them always have me. And if you ever noticed, you know, these are the colors that are there. So purple started boasting that I am wisdom, I am royalty. Look at the kings, look at the bishops, everyone has me. And then indigo was quiet all this while. And then indigo said, I am the color of silence. That's why I've been quiet all this while. But, you know, I represent inner peace. And there is no use without me. So I am the one who represents peace and serenity again. And I represent balance. I keep everything in check, you know. So this way, all of them. So when indigo started showing, then again red started saying, and again yellow started saying. So there was absolute chaos. And there was, you know, suddenly, well, while this entire argument was on, there was a huge thunder. And suddenly there was heavy rainfall. And huge thunder and rain, even all these colors got very scared. And then they all came in close together. They were like really close to each other, holding each other's hand. And then suddenly there was this loud thunder voice saying that, you foolish colors, what do you all think about yourself? None of you all are so special. You all are special only because each one of you all has a purpose. And then each of them started looking at each other and they were like, what is this person saying? And then the rain said, you all have a purpose. And that purpose is basically to be together. And when they all came together, they formed a kind of a band and they said, look around. And then they all looked around and there was this beautiful band that was formed and said, you all are this bow which keeps you all together, and you all look good because you all are together and each of you all has a purpose. So don't be boastful. All right. You all are there because you all have been created for a purpose. So green has a purpose, blue has a purpose, and you all also represent a sign of peace. Therefore, rainbow is also considered to be a sign of peace and hope, right? So the rain clouds, when they came, they put all the colors together and they said, always remember, you are here for a purpose. So the rainbow, kids, it teaches us this particular lesson that you have to learn to appreciate one another because each one is here for a purpose. And that purpose has been given by whom? By the Lord. Like all the colors. Why is green in the trees? Why is blue in the sky? So this is given by the Almighty. All right. God has created this and he's the perfect creator. So we need to just remind ourselves that he's a perfect creator. So when he's created us also with our imperfections is for a reason. And if there is a perfection or a skill that he's given us, that is also for a reason. So we need to just remind ourselves this and always remember. So when we remember or when we see the rainbow, we have to remember that it's a sign of hope. And it's also a sign of reminding us that God has created everything for a purpose and we need to appreciate others. If they have something good, we need to appreciate that. Okay. Now, anyone wants to share some experience of you having appreciated someone or not having appreciated someone? Anyone wants to share anything on these lines? Like Shambhavi's hand is up, so I would want to ask if she wants to share something like this. Shambhavi? Anytime in your life you've experienced something like this where you felt that competitiveness or that comparison, but actually you've landed up appreciating? Shambhavi, you've raised your hand, so I'm asking you. Okay, then we'll ask Haripriya. Her hand is also up. Haripriya, I've unmuted you. Yes, Haripriya.
Yes, Prabhuji, I had an experience this in my school.
Yeah, be a little loud.
I was appreciated because of my tolerance.
You were appreciated because of your tolerance. It'll be very nice to hear that. It's very inspiring to hear that. Please go ahead.
Actually, I was packing my bag and I was sitting. My knees were bended, and a boy, he purposely put his leg on my on my leg, and it was very painful for me, and it was so painful that I started crying. But my partner complained to the teacher.
Right.
So she called that boy and she asked me that, do you want to forgive him? So I said yes, I think it was his mistake, so he'll not repeat this, so I want to forgive him. And then my teacher was very impressed and she told me that you're very tolerant, you got hurt, but still you are ready to forgive that boy. So she gave me two appreciations for that.
That's very nice. So that's so nice of your teacher and so nice of you to be so tolerant. And see, tolerance got you appreciation, and that's nice. And I'm sure, I hope that boy learned a lesson also.
Yes, he never means kicked anyone. He was a very mischievous boy in our class, but after that, he never troubled anyone.
See, sometimes that's what happens, when someone who's mischievous, why do we generally, we've noticed and research has shown that people are mischievous. Why? Because they want that extra attention. Yeah, that's why they do it. And sometimes when they realize that the other person, instead of not getting hassled, has, reacted very calmly, then they feel that they haven't done right. And if you react to them, then that is what they want. So sometimes, it's you like your tolerance showed that it's absolutely a great idea to give this quality a try. That if you tolerate something like this, some people may not change, but I think research also had shown that a majority of people actually feel, and they actually transform. So wonderful. That's a great experience. Thanks for sharing. Wonderful. Rakshita, your hand is up. So I'm giving you a chance also. And if you can put on your camera, it'll be great too.
Yes, Prabhuji, I want to share an incident. In my school when I was in first standard, I was sitting with an girl which was also intelligent, and I have a task that how those who understand the class properly, they have to tell the children who do not understand.
Okay.
So my responsibility was to give Arman the instructions. He was also a boy. So I gave him like I had to raise his speed of writing because he was writing very slow. So I by sitting with me for 1 month or more, he was completely good at writing, and he was writing at the time. So
Okay.
my teacher appreciated me for that, and yeah, so that's all.
So what did you tell about the writing that you were appreciated? Sorry, I didn't understand the last sentence.
Sorry, you are not audible.
No, what did you say regarding that you were appreciated because you helped him?
1 minute.
Sorry, Rakshita, I didn't get the last, and I didn't get the ending.
What? I did not understand.
So what happened in the end, Rakshita, after that, when you were given that task, then what happened in the end?
In the end, his writing. First, I think that it is impossible to improve his writing, but after it was looking very easy, and I was appreciated for it.
Oh, you managed to do it. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I got it now. Thank you, thank you. That's nice. That's nice that you shared that. Okay, that's a great experience. So it's nice you kids at this age have some wonderful qualities that you all have already implemented, in action. That's really nice to see that. Okay, now we'll go ahead with one or two more stories and then we'll discuss regarding those. So every story teaches us something that we may have done in our life or we may have experienced in our life, and also how we can tackle such a situation is better. All right. So this story, again, it's all about comparison. All these stories that we're doing today are all about comparison, but each thing teaches us a different aspect about comparison. All right. So here, this story is about a samurai and a Zen teacher. Now, who's a samurai? Anyone knows who's a samurai? So I'll tell you all. So he's basically an expert warrior. Okay, that's what a samurai is. And a Zen master is basically, you can say someone who's very scholarly and, sage-like. All right. So once there was this very famous samurai. He was famous for his qualities and also famous for his looks, very good looking samurai. And then once he had gone to this Zen master, and he had just won a particular war, and he was very well known at that time. He was very well appreciated, and he was like a star. So when he went to the Zen master and he sat there, and that day, till then he thought that he's great, because he was getting a lot of appreciation. But that day when he went there, he sat throughout the day, and what he was observing is that there was the Zen master, despite being a renunciant, being a very simple guy, wearing very simple clothes, had this aura, this glow, and also had so many people who were really bowing down, appreciating him. So suddenly he got this very inferiority complex kind of a feeling this samurai had. And, suddenly, from here he came down here, where he was feeling so proud and very, because of the appreciation and all the qualities that he had. When he came to this person and he sat there for some time, he was suddenly feeling very inferior. So he sat there, and then the whole day went about. And towards the end of the, he wanted to talk to the Zen master, but his chance didn't come. So towards the end of the day, he landed up speaking to him, and then he told him, once everybody had gone, he just told him that, when I came in, I was very zestful, and now I'm suddenly feeling very inferior looking at you. You have so many disciples, and you have this aura. And then he started praising the Zen master, that you have this aura, and you have so many disciples. And, I just am feeling so small compared to you. So the Zen master, who was again spiritually very elevated, he just took him and he took him to his window. And he showed him the moon. He said, "Do you see the moon? It was a full moon night." And he says, "Yes, I saw. It's looking very beautiful." And then he said, "Do you see something else underneath?" So he saw, "Yes, I see this huge tree." And then he says, "Do you see another tree?" And he says, "Yeah, there's another beautiful smaller tree. And between the two trees, this moon is looking so beautiful." And he just told him that, "You see both the trees, right?" He says, "Yes, I see them. One is a big tree, one is a small tree." And he says, "You see both the trees are together. They're standing next to each other, and they don't have a problem with each other." He says, "Yeah." He says, "You know why they don't have a problem with each other, and why they can stand very comfortably and swaying beautifully in the air, and looking at the moon, and the whole atmosphere is beautiful?" He says, "Yeah, because they are not comparing. Each tree is different." He says, "Exactly. Now the Zen master told the samurai, now you got your answer. They don't compare." And then the samurai started thinking, "Yeah, when I came in, I was feeling very good. And now I'm feeling very inferior. And that is only because I landed up comparing myself with the Zen master." And that's when he got his answer, that it's only because of comparison that I felt inferior. Had I not compared, like trees don't compare, so there's no comparison between a banyan tree and a coconut tree. One is a little low, one is very high, but both are different. Both give different fruits. There is no comparison. Same way the Zen master taught him that we are both different. There is no need to compare. So this comparison teaches us that when we compare, we land up either feeling superior or inferior. But in actuality, nature has made everyone different. So whether it's trees, whether it's animals, or whether it's human beings, we are all made different with a different purpose. Like each tree, as I said, has a different fruit. So there's no comparison between an apple, orange, banana, or mango. Each one is different. Each has its own USP. Animals, each one is different. One is slow, one is fast. One is made for the desert, one is made for the polar region. Different, right? Similarly, we human beings, we're made different. So typically, do not compare. Do not compare, because each one has their different skill sets. Okay. Now, anyone else wants to share some skill sets that you have which someone doesn't have, and thereby you never landed up having that kind of negative feeling towards another, because each one is different, right? So now, anyone else wants to share before we go on to another story? 1 minute. Mataji, anyone else's hand? I don't see all the kids. So Purnendu's hand is up. Purnendu, you want to share something?
Has...
Yes, Purnendu.
No, she says
No?
no.
Then why is your hand up?
No, it's so I just wanted to share a small incident. So
Go ahead.
what had happened that I was playing with my friends down before this COVID-19 thing, and we
Right.
all decided to have a tournament or two tournaments of a cycle race and a running race. So what happened had that I won both of the tournaments, and then I started comparing myself with all my friends that they lost and this and that. And then I met with one of my friends. He was not there while we were doing the tournament. Then I told him how I won and this and that. So he told me that, is it right that you're comparing? Even they can win the other day.
Good. Very well said. Okay. Haripriya Vijay Jadhav. Yes. What do you want to share, dear?
Prabhuji, I want to share a bad quality of mine that means I'm jealous of my younger brother because he gets more attention of my grandparents. So I always feel jealous that whenever he does any mischief, he gets forgiveness. But whenever I do a small mischief, means if I'm being a little bit naughty, then my grandparents scold me. So it is like I feel very jealous that why only he is getting so attention, and then I am so angry that he also beats me and I also beat him. So it's like. It is like I'm very frustrated of him that he always get attention, and it is not for one time. Whenever I meet him or my grandparents, whenever he's there, means like always he'll get attention.
See what happens, that two things. As grandparents, you're older, so maybe they expect you to be more responsible. That's what happens with older children. They are expected to be more responsible. Now, after 5 years, they will probably not behave the same with your younger brother because he would also have grown. So as you grow, and as there is maturity, then the responsibility also comes in, right? So maybe that is the reason. And again, what I would say is that just because he's getting more attention for that time being, see, you've been in the world longer than he has. All right. So if you compare the totality of attention you have got vis-a-vis he has got, there's a difference. So that is another way of looking at it. You're older, you've seen it so much. And any which ways, the thing is, typically you shouldn't compare. Each one is different. So, and you're more responsible. So you should probably look at it as a positive thing that they love you so much that they think you're responsible enough to handle it. What say, Haripriya? So in that way, you shouldn't feel frustrated. Baba, you use the word frustrated. A child of 9-10 using the word frustrated is scary. You should always be smiling. You should not feel anything like that. So that's what I would feel. I would just say that typically do not, with anyone, this is your brother, for in life, you'll meet so many more people. When you grow up, you'll probably be at a job, where you'll have, your boss who may favor someone for some reason or something, so you just do your best and leave to God the rest. All right. I'm talking about later on in life. This is a very small thing, and I'm sure it's a matter of time. Generally, younger kids, they're always cuter. They are always more, you can pick them up. It's generally that happens. I tell my own daughter that, I wish you were small again. I could have picked you up and done that. So, and sometimes, when there are other kids in the building, younger kids, I land up. So, and I tell her that she understands that, it's because it happens. It's an instant reaction I think most humans have towards, and it's not only human kids, a little puppy you see or a little kitten you'll see, you suddenly feel that, compared to a bigger cat. Now, cat is also there, and compared to that, a kitten is always cuter. So I think that's a natural instinct. So don't compare that it's between you and your younger brother or something like that. Just keep smiling and making sure that this comparison between brother sister doesn't come. And siblings mein thoda waise bhi somewhere, I've seen a little bit happens. So sometimes the older one feels that I'm left out, and the younger one feels, oh, like my sister will tell, when she was a kid, she would tell my mother, oh, you're more partial towards your son because he's older. Arey, ulta. So it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be like that between siblings. But typically you shouldn't land up comparing yourself to anyone, is what I personally feel. And because we're all made different. Just remind yourself that one thing: we're all different. We're all on a different journey. This is in life, huh? This is in general that I'm saying, whether it's work, studies, comparison, work, jobs that you do. Always remember, we are all different. We're all on a different journey, and we're all made different by God. Okay. Okay. Now, Darsh, your hand has been up for a long time. Sorry. Please go ahead. What do you want to say? Darsh Mandore. I'm unmuting you. Go ahead, Darsh.
Prabhuji, actually, in my building there is my friend, and he always run faster than me. But and I always felt sad for that. But one day I saw his teeth, and his teeth was means almost with all clips and all. But then I realized my teeth are okay. So and that realized me that everyone has a quality at the same time a disadvantage.
Correct, correct. Very well said. So yes, each one has a disadvantage. But so if you want to be faster, then there's no harm. Don't feel jealous of him. But at the same time, keep practicing your running. All right, do your practice. The more practice that you do, practice makes a man perfect. All right, so you'll definitely land up being a good runner. That's what your objective is, right? Okay, so now this will bring us to another story, and this we again experience many a times in our life. So there was this crow once, and he was at this pond, and he was drinking water. And while he was drinking water, suddenly he saw this beautiful white swan. And he was like, my God, look at her. She's so pretty. And, she landed up telling the swan, see, yaar, you're so pretty that look at me, I'm black, ugly. And then the swan said, no, yaar, I'm nothing. Look at the parrot. I have single white color. Entire body is only white, nothing. Look at the parrot. The parrot was also having water over there. He said, look at the parrot. The parrot is colorful. And, parrots are very colorful. They are green, but they have a lot of shades of color, unlike a swan who's white. So he said, no, they have shades and even prettier than me. And so then the crow went to the parrot and says, okay, I'm good. But you know what? Even prettier than me is the peacock. And the crow said, acha. And then the crow flew, and then he found the peacock in a zoo. And he said, Arey yaar, you're so pretty. Everyone is coming. Everyone is looking at you. And when you spread your feathers, everyone is thrilled. Everyone is taking your photographs. Everyone is taking selfie with you and all. Wow. And then the peacock said, look, my friend, I would rather be you than me. And the crow's like, why? Said, look, because I'm a peacock, because I'm supposedly pretty, I'm inside the cage. And you supposedly you think you're ugly, but you're at least free to move around anywhere, wherever you want. You can do what you want. I can't do that. I'm inside. People come to see me. They take selfies with me, but I'm caged. I can't fly free. Then the crow realized, Arey yaar, barabar hai. I am happy the way I am. So many a times in life, we also see that we feel that someone else is better. That's called, we feel that the grass is greener on the other side. But that's our thinking, because we don't know what position the other person is in. All right. Many a times you will think that one has a better bicycle, that one has the better car, that one has a better gaming console. But we don't know what other things they lack in life. So we'll end up seeing the things which are visible to the eye. But many a times there is so much more in life, which is true happiness. So things don't give us happiness. They give us happiness, but they give us temporary happiness. For example, you get a new phone. How many days will you be excited? Till you see someone else with a better phone, you will be excited. If you get a new bicycle, you will be excited first few days. Till you see something else is better than that. So when you compare yourself with things which are temporary, you will land up being miserable because you think someone else is better. So this is what we learn from the crow. He thought he was miserable, but actually he was in a better position. So always remember the grass is green on the other side, which we think, but that may not be the case. All right. So any of y'all have experienced this earlier, that the grass is green on the other side? Okay. So Mataji, whoever hasn't spoken and has their hands raised, I can't see all the kids, unfortunately. If you can help me, please. Anyone?
I'll give Shreya. She's put her hand up. Now.
Sure, sure. And the other kids who haven't spoken, if you can put on your cameras and raise your hands if you want to share something and talk, because I mostly see all names without any faces attached. I only see blank screens. Riyansh, Darsh,
Shreya, I
Yuka.
have unmuted
Yes,
you.
yes.
Can you put on your camera?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Please share. What do you want to say?
Like it was one. Many of my friends say that they are like they live in the same society, but their dadis have like big houses. So some like not while talking to others, but like in my own mind when I'm talking to myself, I sometimes feel they are so lucky. And then on the other side, I even feel that I'm luckier, that I'm happier.
Yeah.
Like it's two different sides. I don't understand what to believe.
So whenever you want to say this line, na, how lucky, if you want to ever say that to someone, remember the crow. You know how he felt that the peacock is so lucky, but actually the peacock wasn't lucky. So yeah, very well said. Yeah, good that you tell yourself. It's nice. So remember, kids, whenever you feel like telling anyone, oh, how lucky this one is or how lucky that one is, count your own blessings because you don't know the other side of the story. Very well. Thank you. Anything else you want to share? Otherwise, Arnav's hand is up and Rishabh's hand is up.
Unmuted him. Unmuted her. Yes, I've unmuted you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Arnav, go ahead.
Yes. So I have experienced that my friend had a PlayStation and I did not. But after a few days, means I realized that he did not know how to play cricket, football, and everything. But I knew.
So he was completely in front of the screen. That's all that he knew, and he didn't know the real games. He only knew the computer games. Okay. So yeah, see, that's what the grass is always green on the other side. Very well. Thank you, Rishabh. What would you want to say?
Yes, I've unmuted. Yes, Rishabh.
Rishabh, go ahead. I don't think he's able to unmute himself. Rishabh.
Yeah. So I had a book. So my friend had one book. I really wanted that one book of my own, just like that. I like this book really so much. And then I'm asking my mother now. We're checking it on Amazon and it's very expensive, so we couldn't buy it.
Okay.
But in retrospect, I look in my bookshelf. I have a very good quiz book instead.
So you realize that you actually don't need what you thought you needed.
Because this one is more. This one has more general knowledge and science and all that. So that one is just one joke book. Just something like a joke book.
Okay. Perfect. So basically you realize that you didn't need it. All right. But any which way, Rishabh, if he has something like that and you have a good collection, why don't you barter? Barter is a great way to share knowledge. Tell him, bhai, come see my bookshelf. I have so many books. Take whatever you like, read and give it back. And whatever you have, why shouldn't we share? Sharing is caring also. And it's also, exchanging of not only books, but also knowledge. Then you can sit and talk. Maybe he's read something and he wants to share with you and you have something. So rather than discussing, boring, mundane stuff, which typically has no value, you can land up discussing things and share knowledge. That would be another good idea. I'm just suggesting. So that way you'll also get to read his books and he'll also get to read your books. So that's better use of books, because knowledge is meant to be shared. If you have everything to you, kya fayda? Imagine if all our teachers had kept all the knowledge to themselves, we wouldn't have had any books, right? Knowledge is about sharing. Okay. Naman, I see you smiling. What do you want to say? Anything you want to share, Naman Pandey?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to say that in my class, I am very much appreciated for intelligence, but I don't know how to draw, and the most simple drawings are the most tough for me.
That's
And
okay.
I don't know
But
how
you
to
know other
draw.
things, right? Right. So do you feel bad about it, or are you like, okay, I'm better at other stuff?
Yes, I think that it is okay. At least one skill is enough.
Yes, that's a good way. Very well said. So you have to appreciate and be happy with what you have. Great. Great. So now that brings us to one more interesting story about comparison. And this is a story which happened in one of the villages in China, if I'm not mistaken. I had read about the story. So there was this old lady, and unfortunately, she lost her son, and she was like really sad, and she couldn't just get over it, and because she couldn't get over it, then finally she once landed up going to a church, and she said, I want my son back, and whatever it takes, and then the priest really understood that she's in a terrible situation and she's not able to get out of it, or she's not able to think, and she was really sad. So, and he told her, okay, you know what, I will help you. You want your son back? I'll get your son back. And she said, you can really get my son back? He said, yeah, I'll get your son back. He says, okay, but you have to do something. You have to get to the Lord one mustard seed. You know how the size of a mustard seed? Really tiny. He said, you have to only get me one mustard seed, but you have to get it from a house of a person who hasn't seen death or suffering earlier. So she said, one mustard seed. He said, yes, one mustard seed. He said, but it has to be from a house of a person who hasn't seen death or any suffering earlier. So she said, okay. And she just wanted her son back. So she immediately rushed to the village and she went knocking, that, do you have a mustard seed? And, she knew everyone and everyone knew. She said, yeah, take. How many do you want? They get the whole, but no, I want only one. Said, okay, but have you had any death in your family, or have you had any suffering? Then they said, yeah, we just lost someone last year. Next house she went. Said, yeah, we lost someone a couple of years ago. Next house she went. She says, yeah, we've lost someone and we also had suffering because this one is unwell in our house. Then that way she kept on going from house to house, knocking. Have you had any death? Have you seen any suffering? Every house landed up giving long tales of the deaths they've had, the suffering they've had. And then suddenly, after she nearly finished the entire village, she realized that there is not a single house which has not experienced any suffering or death. And suddenly, between all this, she met so many families who had so much more problem and so much more suffering than what she had. So suddenly she forgot about herself. Suddenly she forgot about what she went to the church for. Suddenly she forgot all of that, and the house that she was at, who was in a terrible position, who needed external help, she landed up staying there. She landed up helping them. So she landed up just comforting them and whatever. And then in that comforting that she gave to the family, she landed up forgetting her sorrow. So her cure came in comforting someone else. So many a times, kids, when we compare and when we feel that, someone is happier or better, we don't know that how blessed we are till we meet someone who is really in a bad position. So as they say, count your blessings. And if you really want to feel or count your blessings, just look down. Look down as in people who are lesser fortunate than you. It could be in any respect. It could be in terms of the basic necessities of life. It could be in terms of the knowledge that you have. It could be in terms of the things that you've been blessed with. All right. And when you feel that, then you will feel really thankful. And if you really want to rise above that also, help someone. When you help someone, you will feel happier than owning something. 101%. So if you help someone, the joy that you will get from seeing a smile on someone who's lesser fortunate will be much more joy than you would have experienced on getting maybe the toy that you wanted or the dress that you wanted. It'll definitely be more. So for someone who's experienced that, you will know that it is true what I'm saying. And for someone who doesn't believe me, do it. Try this. Next time, give something or help someone who needs something, whether it's your time, whether it's your resources, whether it's anything, or your help, and see the joy that you bring to them. And it will make you feel much more happier. And I'm sure some of you all would have already experienced it. Anyone wants to share any such experience where you've done something for someone and felt happier, and you've also seen the joy on the other person's face? Anyone wants to share? Because this is something that is tried and tested, that the joy that giving brings, taking doesn't bring that much joy. Anyone wants to share anything like that? I see 3 hands raised. 1 minute. Anyone who hasn't spoken? Purnendu, you've spoken, but if you want to speak again. What about the others? I don't see anyone wanting, like Shivani. I can see you. Means I can see your name, but I don't see your face. Shama, Gaur Hari. I see all these names, but I don't see any faces. So anyone wants to share something? It's nice. See, it's an interactive session that we're having. You know, I will be telling you stories. There are the take-home lessons. But if you share your experiences, the sharing of experiences, you all will learn much more and you all will take home much more. So anyone wants to say something? Otherwise, we'll stop for the day and tomorrow we'll take up. So today we spoke about...
Purnendu is putting his hand up.
Okay, yeah. So today we spoke about comparing. Tomorrow we'll speak about complaining. Purnendu, go ahead, dear.
Prabhuji, I wanted to speak something about the story before we did this. Before the story of we did the one with the crow being miserable.
The crow one. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I
Yeah,
want to speak something about that.
Please
It's
go ahead.
one of my experiences. So one day what happened was this thing was before the corona. It was a nice sunny day. Me and my friends, we were all playing down. And I just got a new cycle on my birthday. But my friend who was 1 year older than me, he had a much nicer cycle. Then I went to him and told, dude, you have such a cool cycle. Then he told, not me. That guy has much better. Then we both went to him. Then we three went to the other guy. The fourth one said, yeah, my cycle is nice and looking, but it doesn't has the speed as your cycle. So then I was like, oh yeah, he's saying right.
Perfectly
not
like the
even
crow
understood
story,
it,
now. Just like the crow
then
story.
I was like, oh
Perfect.
yay. And then I, sat on my cycle and took 10 rounds of the whole colony.
Yeah, lovely. See, absolutely right. We feel that the grass is greener on the other side. Very well said. Great. Okay, who else? I see Arnav's hand raised. Arnav. And then I also see Naman's hand raised. So we'll have Naman also speak after that. And then Shreya also. And Shama also. Yes. Okay, Arnav, go ahead.
Oh,
I can't hear you. 1 minute. I think you've got muted again. I'm again unmuting you. Yeah.
now can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I had an incident on this story that my friend lost his bat with his bat and ball in my building. He lost his bat and ball, and his other friends were not helping at all.
Okay.
So I went to him and I told him that, don't worry, I will help you to find it. As my father told me to come home at 9 o'clock, But to help him out, I have to stay till 9:30.
Okay. And you did that.
So, yeah.
Cool, cool. Nice. Okay. Shreya and then Naman. Can they? Yeah. Shreya, 1 minute. I'm unmuting you, Shreya. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to talk about like the all people are different story. The samurai one.
The samurai one, yeah.
Yes. So once I was just like in third standard. That time I just had 2 or 3 years when I shifted to my new society. So there was a carom match kind of. So I was not that good in carom, but like I just said like I want to give it a shot. So I just went with one of my friend, and she was like 2-3 years elder to me. So we both went and we were playing we were playing carom, and we came till the finals, and at the finals we lost. But like I was feeling, yeah, I at least came to the finals, and all my friends who were like almost my age, I was feeling that like they couldn't do it. After that, like when I came, but when I was talking, I just told my friend that um, next time also we'll be together. So she said, no, next time I'll be with like my sister. Her name is Avni. So she said, next time I'll be with her. So I'm like, I was just paused. And she's like, Vaise bhi you didn't make much points. That was me only who played. So then, like, I was in third. That's why I was a bit sad. So when I went home, I just talked to my mom, dad, sister. So then they said that if you take it in a positive way, you say that you should practice it more, and next time you can do that better.
Absolutely. Very well said. Your parents rightly said that. Yes. So take it as an inspiration. Yes. Rather than, getting depressed or getting boggled down, you take it as an inspiration. Okay, I'll do it better. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing. Good experience. Okay, Naman.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So
Hare Krishna.
I have one more experience. So this is just like one Purendu said that I have a cycle. It's medium sized, but I used to desire to have a bigger cycle, but we used to have many cycle races, but not tournament like, but just for fun. We used to have a lot, and I used to win many a times. So I began to wonder that what is the need of and bigger cycle. This cycle is enough to play and win.
So you were satisfied. That's very good. That's another very good quality of being satisfied with what you have. Great. Very well. Thank you. Thank you, Naman. Thank you for sharing. All right, kids. So we'll end today's session here. Tomorrow we meet again at 3:30, and we'll be taking the topic of complaining up. Now that's again a very common thing, right? Complaining. We see that so often. We'll discuss more about that tomorrow. And if you all have any such stories, keep in once I tell you all will be able to relate to some of the incidents that could have touched your life in a similar way. Okay, so tomorrow we'll talk about complaining and how we have to get over this habit. All right. Thank you so very much, and see you all tomorrow. Hope you all have enjoyed today's session. And tomorrow, the ones who haven't spoken, it'll be nice if you can please participate, because it's all about interacting, sharing. It'll really be nice. And please put on your cameras. Talking to a dark, dull, black screen is boring. Okay. Take care. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, kids.
Take care. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Same.